What's going on, UBC fans? This is Flame Horizon, the new power rankings analyst, however you want to say that, coming at you with the Week 6 power rankings. Now, I have a few disclaimers I'm going to say before I continue on with this video. First thing is, the reason why Week 5 is not out yet is because the other people who are supposed to be doing these have gotten a bit busy, and I just joined in, was able to do Week 6, but was not able to do Week 5. So, I would cover Week 5, but I don't know anything before Week 6. I've only watched Week 6 battles, and that's all I'm going to be covering is Week 6. That's the other disclaimer. I will not be covering any other part of the season combined with this. The rankings for this one will only be from Week 6, and nothing else. So if there's something else that's going to be coming from, like, that you think should be different, please don't get salty about it. Please don't get rude in the comments. Just, this is what I saw from Week 6, and I'm going to go in the order of how people played and what their power ranking is, how good they played this week, and how much I've seen from them. Alright, disclaimers out of the way. Let's get right into this. The 14th spot, unfortunately, goes to the Seattle Scissors, and this week they lost pretty hard against their opponent, which was the Helsinki High Dragons, and they could not work around the Helsinki High Dragons Volt Turn core. It was a slow Volt Turn core, and let me tell you, a good, slow, bulky Volt Turn core is really, really hard to break through. And as soon as I saw the Helsinki High Dragons take good effect of that, and that the Seattle Scissors could not work around that at all, I unfortunately had to give the Seattle Scissors the last spot, the 14th spot, because, well, they didn't really have anything to kind of go around it and gain momentum for their side. It wasn't, like, it's not because I don't think they're a good battler, but it's because they just could not, like, work around it at all, no matter what they did. The Helsinki High Dragons were able to keep momentum on their side of the field and make it so the Seattle Scissors could not do anything. So the Seattle Scissors are at the 14th spot. Also, I'm doing this by myself if you haven't realized, so it's going to be a little bit shorter than normal. I don't have anybody to, like, playfully banter with. The 13th spot goes to the Boston Keldios, who lost this week with an 0-4. And their opponent, if I can go and find it real quick, was Turkey, if I'm saying that right. I'm probably butchering some of these names. Their opponent were the Toronto Luxrays, and the Boston Keldios did not use webs effectively. They may have gotten them up and they helped them get a kill on Weavile, but a lot of the opponent's team did not take effect from webs, and, like, they weren't able to use the speed control to their advantage, unfortunately. And they didn't use, like, from what I saw, Victini was just kind of dead right away. They brought it in on a hit, and then it went down right away the next turn because of the speed tie. I heard from the Boston Keldios that the Victini had Freeze Dry on, or Glaciate, that's the one, it had Glaciate on it, and it switched in on the Salamence, but it took a Hydro Pump and then got outsped in a speed tie. So, unfortunately, the Victini wasn't shown to its full potential, and the Mega Diancie was not shown to its full potential either as a potential, like, wall breaker, sweeper kind of thing. It just, neither of them were used to their full potential at breaking down walls or breaking down, like, and severely hindering a Pokemon to the point of them being revenge kills. And after Victini was gone, Registeel just kind of got through his team and didn't really do much. He couldn't do much to that Registeel after Victini and Diancie were gone. That is why he's at number 13. Number 12 is to Gamer Mario and the Celadon Celebes, who had an 0-3, which is what the last few of those, like, bottom 7 is going to be. They all had an 0-3, so it was kind of harder to determine these last few, unfortunately for me. But the reason why Gamer Mario and Celadon Celebes are right here is, at first, they didn't recognize Aggron's bulk, Mega Aggron's, like, sheer bulk when it comes to taking super effective moves, and they lost a win con almost right off the bat. And I'm not really going to go too much off sets, but the Cresselia did not have any way of recovery, and was too easily whittled down and didn't have any way to get its HP back. So it was kind of difficult for them to use Cresselia to their full potential when Cresselia could have easily swept through a team. I believe their set was Calm Mind, Psyshock, Moonblast, and Ice Beam, which is, good for coverage, but if you don't have a way to heal yourself, Cresselia is kind of pointless, in my opinion. And after Cresselia was gone, Mew and Garchomp kind of cleaned up shop against him, and he wasn't really able to stop them from cleaning up his team. Number 11 goes to the Hog Haluchas, coached by Immortal Mence. I liked his spec Sylveon, and that's why he's a little higher than the Celadon City Celebies. But he didn't have a good check to Mamo or Arcanine after Volcanion was gone. He let it die a bit too early, and that's like the only bad thing I have to say about this, was that he let his win condition, one of the things that could have taken out 2 of his opponent's Pokemon, die way too early. And it just wasn't a way, he let a important Pokemon, and that's why some of these people are low. They let important Pokemon die too early, so they let important Pokemon go down too early, and made it so that they couldn't win. They let their wall breakers, they let their offensive mons go down, so they only had walling Pokemon, but their walls were also broken down fairly easily. That's all I had to say about the Hogluchas, who also had an 0-3. Number 10 goes to the Texas Nightmare. They didn't do well with their lead with Frostlass. They didn't use Destiny Bond on it effectively. They used it at the wrong moments. They spoiled it a bit too early, even though almost every Frostlass set has Destiny Bond, so you can expect it, but he didn't use it at the right time. However, he did use Hydreigon's insane move pool really well, and made it so he could clean up a couple Pokemon before Hydreigon eventually went down, so he didn't get a worse score. And he used, I don't want to say that this is a bad play, but I think he might have forgotten that Jinx has dry skin, and then used Scald on it. But aside from that, he used Steelix, Mega Steelix very well. Even in the losing situation he was in the end game, he used Mega Steelix and made it so he could at least sponge up a couple hits and try to take out another Pokemon. But inevitably he got the number 10 spot. Number 9 goes to Head Honchkrow, coach of the Chicago Flock. He had a nice job playing around the Mirror Coat, but couldn't work around Hippowdon's natural bulkiness. And the reason why he's a little bit higher is that he prepared for the Mega Lopunny by putting Protect on Crawdaunt. And I'm going more off of prep for this, and more over how not really how the teams have done in the past week, but I'm going more off prep and how the team has been working together and how they prepped to counter their opponent's team. But he played around the Mirror Coat very early, the Mirror Coating Pokemon very early. But like I said, Hippowdon's natural bulkiness stalled out a lot of his Pokemon, and he just was not able to get around it until late game when it was too late. Number 8 goes to the Shinryu Pikachus. Normally, when you see Excadrill, it's probably going to lead, and that's exactly what he did. I liked that personally. It did really well against his opponent's team. But after he let Quagsire die too early, he didn't really have a good response to Scarf Crocodile. And Scarf Moxie Crocodile is something you do not want to let go on a rampage. As soon as that thing gets one kill with Earthquake and you have no Earthquake resistance, you're kind of done. And I gotta give it to the coach of his opponent, who I'll be covering next. But he just could not work around Scarf Moxie Crook as soon as his Quagsire was gone, and that is what his opponent, who is at number 7, which I'll be going into right now, the Bee's Knees, Adam, who is the coach of the Kansas City Kakunas. He led Scolipede, which is something I would expect him to lead with, but he tried to set up Toxic Spikes on Excadrill, and not only is Excadrill a Steel type, but it has Rapid Spin, and he worked around the Toxic Spikes and everything, to the point of getting his Toxic Spikes spun away right away, and then only getting one layer up later, which helped him a little bit. But the improper use of Toxic Spikes right away didn't really help too well. He used Manaphy in a way that you don't really see it used. He used a Calm Mind set, and not the Tailgo set that you normally see. And using Calm Mind to boost your special defense on especially Manaphy, who's such a bulky Pokemon already, is scary. He used Manaphy a bit too well, even though it went down right away. And like I said when I was covering the Shinryu Pikachus, he used Scarf Moxie Crocodile to its full potential and was able to clean up the rest of the Pikachu's team. Or was it Pikachu's? Yeah, it was Pikachu's. For some reason I thought it was Pichu's off the top of my head. But he used Crocodile to clean up the Pikachu's really, really effectively. Number 6 goes to the Broadway Blastoise. He played around Frostlass really, really, really well. Had a lot of nice switches. And, like, playing around Frostlass by, I think he was Cobalion, which was a special set, had HP Fire and Focus Blast were the only 2 moves I saw that I can remember. And instead of using HP Fire, while he used Destiny Bond, which would have taken him out, he used Focus Blast, and then switched into Rotom. And when he switched into Rotom, he knew that the Frostlass was not going to use Destiny Bond, or he predicted that, and went for a Shadow Ball, taking out the Frostlass and playing around Destiny Bond very, very well. He also did very, very well against Vaporeon in the late game, and he did not leave his opponent's Gengar unchecked. The Vaporeon was kind of trying to wall him at the end and was trying to win the game for him, but near the end he played around it very well and was able to whittle it down and take it out pretty easily. And the Gengar, he knew that it would leave a Sludge Wave right at the end. I think he EV'd it the right way, or it was just because of Diance's natural bulk, because he used Diance's natural bulk very, very, very well, and he packed Psyshock on the Diancie to be able to handle the Gengar. Number 5 goes to the Maryland Mienshaos. I would say like Mienshaos because that's what the Pokédex 3D on the 3DS does, but it's Mienshao personally to me. He dealt with Sylveon very, very well early on, and he played around the opponent's wall breakers very well. He was able to take out his wall breakers with, I think Kyurem was one of the ones that took out. Well, Kyurem took out Volcanion, and I remember that. And he used Kyurem really well. But being able to take out the wall breakers allowed it so his walls could kind of come in and clean up shop. Allowed it so that his walls, his natural bulky Pokemon, could come in and deal damage as well, and make it so that, you know, he could win with a fairly decent score of a 3-0. Number 4 goes to the Baltimore Orioles, and he played very, very well with Hippo. He used Hippowdon's natural bulkiness to its full potential by running a special set to be able to counter the Thundurus. And, well, just like using Hippowdon and Megalophony together, like, personally to me, Hippowdon and Megalophony together is scary. You have such a bulky Pokemon with only, like, 3 weaknesses, and then you pair that up with a Pokemon that's also really fast, that can hit hard. Like, that's crazy. Megalophony, I think, got like 3 or 4 kills this match. I'd have to rewatch it and double check. But, like, he used them both to their full potential. And using 2 scary mons like that to their complete and full and utter potential is completely scary and completely powerful, and that's why he's at number 4. The 3rd spot goes to the Washington Talonflames, who used Mega Aggron's natural physical bulk with Filter to easily take out Diggersby right away at the beginning, which would normally take out Aggron, but at that point in the match, Diggersby had already taken a Heavy Slam, so his opponent sacked it off, which I would have saved it, but took out Diggersby, which was a win con for his opponent. I just burped, sorry. And being able to take Diggersby right away was very, very good. He also used Mew's natural bulk to take hits really well, and also used Mew's kind of like offensive side a little bit to take out some opponents, to take out some of his opponent's Pokemon as well. He used Empoleon very, very well because he knew Empoleon would resist all 3 moves that Cresselia had, and he used Empoleon to take out Cresselia, and being able to use bulky Pokemon in such a way to be able to take out another bulky Pokemon is one of my favorite things to see. Because Empoleon can either be really, really bulky, or it can be really, really offensive. He used the bulky set this week, and he used that to his full potential, and it took out a huge threat right away. I also enjoyed Talonflame's switching, and the nice use of Garchomp at the end to take out a lot of the weakened Mons. Because after a few of the Mons are gone that would outspeed Garchomp, Garchomp can come in and just clean up shop because of its amazing attack stat. And the last 2 you probably could have predicted. The 2nd spot goes to Turkey. I don't know really how to pronounce that. He's probably gonna like murder me somehow. I don't know. The Toronto Lux Rays. Now, if you've seen stuff on my channel, none of you probably have, because you probably never heard of me. But I love Salamence to the point of it being my favorite dragon Pokemon. He used a special Salamence set that I've run before personally, but he used it perfectly. He was able to take out a couple of his opponent's Pokemon with it, actually more than a couple. But like he used it to the point like predicting the Victini switch in and using Hydro Pump, having I think Fire Blast to be able to handle a Fortress. I think his opponent had Fortress. I'd have to rewatch the battles just to double check. But he used Special Ments, and it was completely perfect. He had a lot of nice predictions, but the only reason why I wouldn't put him in the top spot is because he made one little like misplay with Weavile, and forgot that Sticky Webs were up, and basically sacked off Weavile to a Landorus without even needing to. So I mean, but another thing that I liked, and like this is kind of like a sportsmanship thing, or not really sportsmanship, kind of like a showmanship kind of thing that I have to say. Being able to take out Landorus with Rapid Spin had to be one of my favorite things to see. And the #1 spot goes to the Helsinki Hydreigons. And I don't have much to say. The only thing is that they use their Volt Turn core with Gligar and Lantern very, very well. And like I said at the beginning of the video, a slow Volt Turn core is scary. Like, if you're able to use a slow, bulky Volt Turn core that can heal itself when need be, that's scary. If you don't have a good Mon to deal with that, you kind of lose. Like, it's like, that was such, like, being able to predict what his opponent is going to do and then Volt Switch and you turn out into a Pokemon that can take it out. Or Vebsis, I'm not sure what gender this person is. But they use this Volt Turn core so perfectly, and I can actually probably check that right here. Hold on, let me look. I'm gonna see what their name is. Give me a couple seconds. I'm checking it right now. Elias is their first name. I'm pretty sure that's a guy. I'm confused sometimes, guys. I just met these people. I'm just getting to know them a little bit more. But this is a pretty good league from what I've seen. There's a lot of good competition here, and it's definitely something I want to get more into. I like this league. There's a lot of good, like I said, good competition, a lot of good people, and I can't wait to see where this league goes. But that was the power rankings for Week 6. As I said at the beginning of the video, there was no Week 5 one, because Verd and D-Pad and a couple of the other ones were a little bit too busy and were not able to do this. But I was glad I was able to get Week 6 out to you guys. And as I said, please don't be salty that this is only for 1 week. I've only been on this, like the season for about a week myself, and I was not able to watch any of the Week 5 matches because I have not had the time. I was barely able to watch the Week 6 ones and throw this together. But I thank you all for watching this. Please leave like any suggestions on how you'd want me to improve these, because I'm still getting used to this, just being like talking on myself and rambling a bit. But if you have any suggestions, leave it down in the comment section. I thank you all for watching, guys. Please go ahead, and if you would like, I have a YouTube channel myself and a Twitter account. Go ahead and go to both of those. I'll link them down so you don't have to look it up yourself. And I thank you all for watching. Take care, guys.